Did you always dream big and know I'm going to be walking down the street in New York City?
I wake up every day with an attitude of gratitude.
Are you enjoying the fame though?
I'm enjoying it. Somebody has not told these students how important they are in the whole picture of life. We don't value education anymore. There must be a time when people wake up and say,
I'm joined now by an incredible actress and performer, Miss Sheryl Lee Ralph, of both the stage and the screen. Her career stretches 5 different decades. You wouldn't know it by looking at her. She is a star of a critically acclaimed Abbott Elementary, award-winning comedy on ABC. Thank you for joining us. It's so good to see you.
Good to be here with you.
You look fantastic.
Thank you, and I feel it too.
Do you really?
Oh, absolutely.
How so?
I wake up every day with an attitude of gratitude. I'm so thankful because I always know in my mind, millions did not make it, but I am one of those that did.
Do you wake up with our sister, what's her name, on Blackish, when she says, I look in the morning and I say, pretty bitch.
Oh, go, absolutely. Yes, Jennifer Lewis.
Jennifer Lewis.
Oh, God, she and I are from the same book. I look in the mirror and I love what I see. And if I'm not going to love it in that morning, I'm going to encourage it. Yeah. I'm going to empower it. And above all, I'm going to respect it and move out into the world.
Miss Sheryl Lee Ralph, I've known you for a long time.
Yes,
I've followed you for a long time. She responds to every single one of my texts when I feel like I'm pestering her. And you inspire me.
Thank you.
You get up in the morning and I talk to my mom, and then I look and I see you online and I watch your Instagram, and then I'm like, how you doing? You look fantastic.
Thank you.
So, how do you feel about you have this notoriety now? You were a character. Is it fair to say you were a character actress and now you're?
Oh, yeah. I think I was more of a celebrity actress. You know, I was one of those people that people knew. I was especially Black famous. You know, and then Abbott Elementary hit, and I've been so enjoying the love that I receive from people, the way they respond to my character, Barbara Howard, the way they love the show. But now we've just wrapped up our 3rd season and going into the 4th season, and something is happening that I was not expecting. I don't know why, but it's the loss of anonymity. It's, you know, before it was, yeah, you're walking down the street, absolutely no problem. Yeah. You know, everybody's gonna say, hey, how you doing? Yeah. Now it's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to see you, I remember I told you I saw you once on the platform at the Amtrak station, right? And as the train was going by, I was like, who is this beautiful woman? You were wearing this beautiful white fur coat. I don't know, probably. It wasn't a real, it was a faux fur.
No, actually it was a white wool coat with a lamb collar, which is acceptable. I remember the coat. Yes, I do.
Yeah, and I saw you on the platform. I'm like, man. I said, who is that beautiful woman? And then I looked, and I'm like, that's Sheryl Lee Ralph. Are you enjoying the fame, though?
I'm enjoying it.
It's not
very
weird
much.
being?
Sometimes it's weird because people have different ways of expressing their fandom or their fanatic. You know, it's so many different things, but most of it that I get to receive is absolutely love.
But you don't change. You've gone from, you had 2 different Barbaras. Yes. Barbara Hanley, I think, started it.
Wow.
And now Barbara Howard.
Thank you for that full circle right there. Yes, I was 19 years old, my very first film, Piece of the Action, directed by the great Sidney Poitier, who was just wonderful to me as a young actor. And now I look at that character. She was such a raw, angry young girl with so much potential. She just needed somebody to help her realize that she mattered, that she was smart, she could do it. And I always say in my mind, that's why Barbara Howard is such a good teacher, because she was Barbara Hanley, and she knew what she needed then is what sadly so many students still need right now. I mean, when I look at some of the violence that is going on in schools across the country, somebody has not told these students how important they are in the whole picture of life. They just think they're doing time here until they're dead. And they don't realize that one of them has the cure to cancer in their brain. One of them has the ability to bring peace to others. One of them has true leadership skills if they were able to be guided and put to the greatness of their possibilities.
Where does that come from? Is that from that passion as an educator? Is that from your dad, who was a college professor?
Has to be my dad and my immigrant mom.
Who was, as you look, her immigrant mom was a fashion designer.
Yes.
And what was it, the Carib suit?
The Cariba.
The Cariba suit.
She created the Cariba.
Yeah.
She didn't believe in the idea of colonialism and the way it affected men in the Caribbean and throughout the diaspora. She said it was just so difficult to watch them go out into public in the heat and just sweat. They need to take off the jacket, take off the tie, take off the shirt. They must be free. So she created what is basically now, I think we now know it as the Cuban shirt, but it was a more formal idea of that shirt. And sometimes the men would wear an ascot. And growing up, any great leader would come through my mom's atelier in Kingston, and they were all fitted custom in their Cariba suits.
Fabulous.
Yeah, but between she and my dad, it was always about you being your best. And it wasn't, your best wasn't just good enough for you. Your best, if you had it, it had to be shared.
So are there still your dads and Barbara Howards out there for these young people? Because you say they think they're just biding their time, filling time between now and the end.
We don't have enough. I think from...
What do we do then?
We have to inspire and encourage more people to, you know, either you have the passion to teach, either you have that passion to mentor, or you don't have it. And we need it, because I think in Temple this year, maybe only 300 people graduated from the School of Education. And we need twice that number.
I was going to say that, Sheryl Lee. It used to be, when I was growing up, it was, I mean, it's kind of sometimes the only thing you could be was a teacher, but people also aspired to be teachers and educators.
That's exactly right.
And those were the people we looked up to,
That's right.
W.B. Du Bois, right?
Oh my God, the talented 10th.
Yeah.
And the thing about
Premium
it
on
is,
education.
Thank you. We don't value education anymore. And I sometimes think to myself, why do we lean into the idea of dumb leadership? Why do we lean into the idea of leaders who do not care or value you enough to make sure that no matter what zip code you come from, you deserve a quality education because you are in the greatest country in the world? And how can it be that the greatest country in the world is not even in the top 25 of the best educated people in the world? We're not even in the top 30, 40. Are we in the top 50? Not quite sure about if that has changed. That to me is unacceptable.
But it also has to do with our leadership too, and what we place a premium on.
Thank you.
We place a premium on capitalism and making money. And that's not the most fulfilling thing. Everybody wants to make a couple of dollars and secure the bag, but you have to have some...
You have to have something up here. If you don't have something up here that is balanced out by what is in your heart and what it is you believe, we will see the absolute dumbing down of America. And to me, how can we let that be okay? How can we let... There are schools... Let's just take Philadelphia. Why not? The city of Abbott Elementary. When we write about those schools that are literally falling apart, that is real. The asbestos in schools, that is real. Water fountains that are molded, corroded, that is real. Lead-based paint still in the schools, which we know leads to the slowing of the brain, that is real. Yet, 3 miles across town, they've got a television station. They've got a whole weather situation set up. They've got a fully manicured football field and track. It's not fair.
You're going from
It's
Philadelphia
not
to
right.
Bryn Mawr to the.
Hey,
Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
know exactly what you're talking about.
But you went to public schools, right?
Yeah, I went to private school, and I had such a horrible experience that I told my parents when we moved and came to New York, I'm not going to private school. I'm going to public school.
I had a similar experience.
Oh.
I went to private school, Catholic school, my entire life.
Me
and I said,
too.
I'm tired of wearing uniforms. I'm tired of lining up. I felt like I was in military school, but I didn't appreciate it then. And then I went to public school. That was a great experience, but the discipline I learned in that Catholic school took me through. And
Absolutely.
I knew that just because I was where I was now, I was in, first grade, second grade, third grade, that life was an evolution. I don't know, I guess I was taught that. And for you as well, because as I said, you went from Barbara Hanley to Dina Jones. I used to watch you in It's a Living, dun, 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 dun. You weren't always where you are now. Did you always know? Did you always dream big and know, I'm going to be walking down the street in New York City and someone's going to say, oh my God, that's Sheryl Lee Ralph.
I don't know if I dreamt about that, but I certainly did dream that there were great things possible in my life. I just had to carry on. I just had to keep on. I just had to be my best and do my best for others.
Did you manifest? The kids call it manifesting now. You knew it was coming.
I'm going to say yes. I believed. I prayed. I believed. I leaned into it. I took my education very seriously. Speaking well, presenting well, being open to other people, making sure that when people are in your company, that they feel good too. Yes.
Do you inspire the people around you like this? Because I wonder if you inspire. Quinta is a young woman starting out, right? But she is fantastically brilliant and talented. But do you inspire her? Do you go on the set like this every day?
You have to ask her.
Do you
but
carry
yes.
this attitude to work?
Absolutely. How can it leave me? It is what I am.
What do you think of Quinta?
I
think
love
she's
Quinta.
fantastic.
I love Quinta. I love Quinta and I love Janine. And it's so interesting. I can look at Quinta and it's like, I'm a mother. So I look at Quinta and it's like, she's the same age as my children.
Right.
And it's like looking at my children and it's just like, look at my children.
Yeah.
It's like looking at you. Look at my baby
come on.
brother.
No.
Look at him. And he worked that thing too. I'm like, go, baby brother, go.
I'm too old to be your kid. I'm too old.
But you
would
can be
my
my
sister.
brother.
Yeah,
There you go.
yes,
You can be my nephew. You can be my brother.
You would be my sister.
But I look at Quinta and I just love her. And then when I'm in scenes with Janine, I'm just like, I love Janine. I love Janine. She makes me crazy, but I love Janine. Yeah.
But these are talented people. Janine is a
Janine
stand-up.
is the character that Quinta plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a stand-up comedian. What's her name?
Janelle.
Janelle.
Yes.
Who's been around?
She plays Ava.
I had Roy Wood Jr. in, and he's like,
Yes.
Janelle is finally getting her due because she's been around. She's been opening for folks. She's opening for Chris Rock and other people.
That's
And
right.
she is an amazing comedian. And now people are like, oh,
And
what
a
did
great
she
writer, too.
She says, I've been around.
That's right.
I've been doing this. That's like you. You've been around. You've been doing this.
Yes, I
And all of a
have.
sudden, do you feel like finally I'm getting my flowers?
No, I don't feel like
You
that.
don't?
No. It may have been delayed, but I was not denied. And the thing about it is there have been many moments in my life, if my career had ended after Dreamgirls, that was a good career. If my career had ended after Moesha, that was a good career. If my career had ended after marrying the senator, that was a good career. Go on and be a local, celebrity. That would have been a great career. Then I would have been the star of Whatever Happened To. But that's not what God had planned for me. God was like, no, just keep on, just carry on. Keep on being the best you can to yourself and others. It's gonna be all right. And during all of that, I have 2 beautiful children.
You do. You're a great mom. You're getting ahead of me because I was going to talk about you and your mom. And I see you posted pictures of your kids and your son. You're like, look at my handsome son.
Yes.
And it reminds me, my mom, every morning, I could show you the text. Good morning, my handsome baby. What are you doing today?
That's right. I love my children.
But we all need that.
Yes. I knew that like you said, did I believe or know that I was going to be celebrity? Ooh, that's Sheryl Lee Ralph. No, I knew that someone was going to call me mommy. I knew I was going to be somebody's mother. And when I look at my children, I'm like, yes, look at my legacy.
Is that as important, more important than the career?
Oh, it's more important than everything. And it's going to carry on in a good way. My son is getting married this summer, and he's picked a wonderful partner. She's strong, she's smart, she's vibrant, she's beautiful, a wonderful addition to our family. And I am so thankful to God. And now I just pray for the same and most wonderful man to come into my daughter's life.
Oh, it's going to happen.
Yes, it's absolutely going to happen. But he's got to be real special because she's pretty fabulous. Oh, yeah.
I want to talk about your work with HIV and AIDS.
Yes.
Because you have been, you've been an ally, and not that AIDS only has to do with the gay community, but you have been an ally for the gay community. Your work on Broadway, I think I would imagine that was sort of an inspiration of you having
This was the start of it all.
an experience with being around people who were
I don't think
members of the LGBT
anybody,
community.
I think it's very hard for people to remember anything nowadays. And as a young woman, the original company of Dream Girls on Broadway, what I saw forever changed me. When I saw you would be dancing with your friends one night, they'd be sick the next day, fighting for their lives. And what was horrible was the stigma, the shame, and the silence, because nobody wanted to talk about it.
Remember that?
Oh my God!
I remember, Sheryl Lee, when I first moved to New York, I would come visit my aunt in the summer. They had this beautiful brownstone in Sugar Hill, and I would come and house sit for them, and they would go on these fabulous vacations, Egypt or whatever, and I couldn't wait. I was like, where are y'all going this summer so I can come house sit? And so I would spend the summers here, and I would, and then I eventually moved in the early 90s. But I remember people who would be in their hospital gowns, walking down the street in New York carrying the roller IV things, and because they were just like, I got to get out. But they were the patients they were the AIDS patients sometimes, and that left an indelible mark on me about the stigma of HIV and AIDS, and then also sort of led to my journey eventually years later to come out, because I thought visibility was important. I thought stigma on actually being gay, removing that stigma was important. And
Absolutely.
so I imagine you felt the same way, because your friends, I'm sure, would be here one day and gone the next day.
Absolutely. They would get sick, and now people are living and thriving. There wasn't any living and thriving. They got sick and they died.
Yeah.
And it was horrible.
But you're doing HIV and AIDS work. You also did a film, right?
Yes.
A couple months
believe
ago, two black women, let me
Yes.
explain, two black women who were living with HIV and AIDS. And people are living and thriving, there are drugs, but people are also not living and thriving, right?
That's exactly right. And what I did when I created the Diva Foundation, Divinely Inspired, Victoriously Aware Diva Foundation, I believe in the power of the arts. And with stigma and silence, I said, if we could just fight this, it started out one song at a time with divas simply singing, but now it moved on to my one-woman show, Sometimes I Cry, and now it is Unexpected, and we've been nominated for a Daytime Emmy for, Best Special, which I'm so proud of, and I thank ABC and Hulu for their support. And I think about these two young women who get the unexpected diagnosis of HIV, and they don't cave. They rise to their own experience, and they decide to help others. And Zeb Newman shot their life, their whole process, and we've made this film, Unexpected.
I worry, though, that the advances in the medication, even the prevention, for HIV/AIDS, if it sort of makes people feel like it's not out there anymore.
That's why we have to continue raising awareness.
Yeah.
That's why we have to keep showing people's struggle. That's why we have to continue being diva, divinely inspired, victoriously alive, aware, awesome.
You are that way as well. You are bringing people's attention to a woman's right.
Yes.
And a woman's right to choose what to do with her body
Yes.
in this election. You've
Yes.
been working with the White House. You work with the the Vice President of the United States.
Yes.
You have a special relationship with her. Why is that so important to you?
You know, I think about this, and she and I were talking the other day in Pennsylvania. 30 years ago, I had a traumatic delivery of my child. He was either going to live or not live. Thank God he lived. But in the midst of all of that, had he not lived in this day and age, for that medical team to help me, they would be risking going to prison because of all of these rules that are being put in place around abortion. And I need women to understand that abortion is not some dirty word for some nasty woman or for some bad, sexy girl. Very often, an abortion can be a medical procedure that is needed by a woman. And these are not things that our doctors and caregivers should be having to risk their lives and being for doing. People are upset about things like Planned Parenthood. Oh, we don't need those clinics. They don't understand that clinics like Planned Parenthood in some cities, counties, states, and places, that is the only place that the community, men included, can go to get health care. Abortion is 5% or less of what it is they are doing. So when you bomb it, blow it up, block people from getting through the doors, you are blocking them from the health care that they need. And I need women to understand that you have rights when it comes to your body. You have rights when it comes to your reproductive choices. You have rights. Nobody should be telling you, especially your government, what you should or should not be doing with your body. Women are valuable. Women are powerful. Women have a voice, and women need to start getting proper information and show up and vote for their best interests.
Amen. It's not just about, oh, I have an unexpected pregnancy and I want, that's not what it's about. I have a book coming out and I write about, there's a woman in the book who needed to have an abortion because she had an issue with the pregnancy and the child was not going to live after.
Thank you.
And she had to carry this child and she was in pain and anguish mentally, physically, and emotionally, and could not have the procedure that she needed as a woman. And when she told me that story, it was heartbreaking listening to it. And but I thank her for allowing me to write about it because it is important. And I find that it doesn't matter which side of the political aisle you're on. People talk about conservatives or Republicans, but women, Republican women, they won't tell you, but they know we need to have this procedure, and I think they will vote on that.
They must vote on it.
You think it'll make
All
a difference?
Women. You know, I think it will always make always make a difference when a woman decides and learns what is right and best for her. Because there used to be a time, and frightening so, I think it might be coming back, where the slogan was, what should women be? Barefoot and pregnant. I saw a speech given.
Did you see you talking about the commencement address?
I saw that commencement.
He's a place kicker for an NFL team, and he said, my wife's sacrifice, go on.
When he said, ooh, see that mess with my voice.
I know, right?
When that young man said that my wife has made the greatest sacrifice to become.
So that I can.
Thank you, so that he can do whatever to become. And he started to cry, a homemaker. I said, oh my God.
The greatest job in the world, I think he said that, is a homemaker.
The greatest job in the world, a homemaker. Now, I respect this because women who decide
they want to be a homemaker,
to stay home and want to be a homemaker, who want to be there 24/7, more power to you. But that is not the only way. But if that is your way, I'm all for your right to be just that. But for someone to say to all of these women. I know some of you are going to go out there and do great things, but the greatest thing all of you can do is stay at home and be a homemaker. What in the world?
Do you think he said it wrong? No.
No, he said what he wanted to say, and he said it the way he wanted to say it.
If he had said, you can go out and you're going to do great things, you can do business, whatever, blah, 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 but also I respect some women want to, I don't know, be homemakers, and that is just as an important job as someone who wants to go out.
Well, that might have been different.
That's different, but that's not what he said.
That is not at all what he said. He negated women going out, working, finding their own purpose that is not within the home, and said, you all need to stop all of that and just go. And that kind of thinking should send up a flare, because that is a young man saying that. Now, he could have been a certain religion where, do you see?
It's based on religion.
He could have been saying that based on religion. And there are some religions who believe that that's what a woman should do. If that's what you think, if that is the way you want to express yourself through your religion, more power to you. But please don't try and tell all the rest of us that that is what we need to do, because I got a great family and I didn't stay at home.
Amen. And you're a believer, too.
And I'm a believer.
So, and you're a believer in success. You're a believer in a woman doing what she wants to do. You've been doing what you wanted to do. The Vice President of the United States is doing what she wants to do, achieving. We have a woman Vice President. That's pretty amazing. She called you to congratulate you on your Emmy. She called me to congratulate me on my marriage. We were shocked on our wedding day. We were like, oh my gosh, the day before our wedding, that's the Vice President of the United States. She's an amazing woman.
Yes, she is, and a very capable woman. I always tell people, if we ever had a President Harris, we would be a very fortunate country, because there's something about women, especially women of color, in her case, Asian and Black. These women are going to look out for you, and not just for some of the people. They're going to look out for everybody.
Do you see her as president one day?
I think it's an absolute possibility that I hope does not frighten people.
Would you like to see her as president?
Oh, I'd love to see her as a president.
Yeah.
I think she'd be a wonderful president. I think we would see the kind of human changes that are necessary.
Do you get into, because your husband is a politician, your husband is a state senator, right?
Senator Vincent Hughes, Pennsylvania, yes.
I know. Philadelphia, I know all this stuff.
Thank you.
So I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind me asking you, a couple of political questions that you can say no, because this is about the Biden-Harris ticket.
Yes.
They're having some issues when it comes to in key battleground states. I think they're behind in most of the key battleground states, except for Wisconsin. 5 of the 6 key battleground states: Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. Wisconsin is the only one that they're ahead. I'm shocked when we have a president that has 88 charges against him, that they're in this position. Do you think it's a snapshot in time? Does that concern you as a supporter of the vice president in the Biden administration?
I always go back to, if you were to go back to the crucifixion of Christ, always remember that the people had a choice. The people had a choice between a known anarchist, a known, let's just say, rabble-rouser, Barabbas. And they had a choice between Jesus. And Jesus, everybody said, but wait a minute, he hasn't done anything wrong. Yeah, he's got a big mouth. He goes out there and he tells you should be good to each other, but he hasn't done anything wrong. And they said, you know what? We're just going to leave it to the people. What did the people choose? The people chose the criminal. So people have chosen the criminal many times before. I don't know if we as people are comfortable with criminals. I don't know why it is we want to choose to forget what people have said out loud to our faces, what we can absolutely read, the horrible things we know they did, but we find comfort in that. I must believe that the moral compass has got to shift towards good. There must be a time when people wake up and say, we can do better than this. Why are we standing up for wrong? And why can't we just do good together? But sometimes those choices are forced by something else going on.
What you mean?
See, sometimes people are stuck and they think, well, if the criminal did it, maybe I need to be a criminal because the criminal got ahead. So if I just follow and do what the criminal, if he lies, let me lie. And they feel like if they can do that, they will break out of the bubble that they're in. Not knowing that you don't have to be a liar, you don't have to be a thief, you don't have to slash each other in school just to get attention. You can show up. You can be ready to learn. You can be your best self. You can put aside your hate. You can put aside your bigotry. You can put aside whatever it is you're seeing in your eyes when you see others.
I call it, it's a shortcut. I call it the shortest line to the front.
Hey.
And you don't always need that. One more thing, and then I'm going to talk to you about the Fabulous Four, because I want to know about that.
Oh, my.
I wonder are you concerned? I'm concerned about this. This concerns me. You can tell me. You may not feel this way, but this ticket has struggled to engage black voters.
Yes.
Do you know that Trump is almost equal to them in certain demographics of the black community when it comes to black voters? Is that concerning to you? Is there anything they can do to turn that around? Do you believe that?
Oh, listen, I would say for so long, being black, colored, Negro, whatever we have been called over the generations in America, it has been a fight. It has been a difficult journey because as soon as you get ahead just a little bit, somebody changes the game and you've got to learn a whole new set of rules. And when you learn a whole new set of rules, it's like being the number one in whatever race. They want to say, oh, it's just a fluke. I mean, after all, we changed the game, we changed the rules. Why would they be winning? Oh, it's just a fluke. So it's hard when folks get in power and they don't say to you, I understand your struggle. And it seems like sometimes they're blind to your struggle. It seems like sometimes you're always the last person invited to the party only because they want you to be there to say, thank you for inviting me to the party. Engage before.
Yeah.
Understand the struggle. Try and see it. Try and feel it and make people feel better about themselves because you know what they have been through. Because there's a whole nother silo trying to say, we need to change the rules again.
Yeah.
We've had a black president. We're not going to let that happen again. Not for a while. We know it's happening. So don't be shocked if people are feeling like, well, you know what, I'm going to sit this one out. But to everybody who would sit it out, I would say, if you sit this out, you're not voting or reacting for your own best interest.
Yes.
Because if you sit it out, because you're the game changer.
Right.
That group of people that you're talking about, we are the game changers. You want to launch a television station? Launch it on us. You want to launch a pair of sneakers? Launch it on us. You want to launch some good food? Launch it on us. We change the game. You want to win this election? Understand us. Invite us. Talk to us. Include us in the conversations. Then you got me.
Would you run?
For what? For a Birkin bag?
Hell no, you wouldn't
Hell
run.
no. We got one politician in my family,
that's enough.
Senator Vincent Hughes, and that is enough. Not me, baby.
But you're very inspirational. You're inspiring, so maybe you would. I want to
No.
ask you, I know that you love the Vice President. You have a special relationship before we move on. Is there anything else you want to say about it? I want to exhaust this conversation because I know you're passionate about it, and I want to make sure you get it in if you have.
I want to say that no matter what you think about culture, class, race, gender, Kamala Harris, as our vice president, is a very capable, very smart woman, very able. And in her position, she is a great leader, and she represents America very well. Don't let your isms make you feel about Kamala Harris.
More about strong women.
Yes.
You have a new movie coming out this summer. It's called The Fabulous Four. It's a comedy. It stars you, Susan Sarandon, Bette Midler.
Bette Midler.
Bette Midler, excuse me. I'm sorry, Bette Midler.
I call her Bette effing Midler. Yes.
And then Megan Mullally.
Yes.
What is it like to be, I mean, that's some strong women. What is it? Who dominates the set, or is it all, what is going on that set?
I have to tell you something. As an artist, Bette Midler, the actress, the singer, the activist, television, film, when I look at her, as she is the consummate artist, this woman just has a way of being that is quite amazing. As she gets on in life, she is still learning, which I love to see that, you know. She said to me, I'm gonna learn this social media thing. I'm gonna tweet one day. And I was like, oh my goodness. I love that she's still out there learning, growing.
One of the greatest thrills of my life was sitting next to her at a dinner party. And we were at a dinner party, and the politics came up, and there was a conservative politician in the room, and people were asking him questions.
Yes.
And it got a little heated, and she was sort of the mediator. You would expect, everyone thinks Bette Midler is like this far left leaning or whatever. And she was like, wait a minute, listen to the man. And I was like, wow.
You know, with all of the protests going on between Israel and Gaza, and the conversation about Hamas.
There's a lot of nuance in this conversation, and nobody's innocent in the conversation.
That's exactly
And
right.
I keep saying that you can't just tell these young people that they're dumb and they're stupid and they don't know the history or whatever, because college is about critical thinking.
Thank you.
They know something. And so you should listen to them. Maybe they're not right, but but maybe they are on some things.
Absolutely.
And the older people who believe a certain way or were taught a certain way growing up should listen to these young people, because they're the future of Judaism.
And not just Judaism, they are the future of the world.
Right. So you need to bring them in to try to figure out what is going on. And if you want to teach them something that you believe they don't know, you have to bring them in.
And when I heard about them kicking students out of the schools, so you want to kick them out for doing exactly what they're there to do, which is learn, develop their mind, develop their voice. That is important, whether you agree with them or not.
Yeah, but they're not there to hate. They're
not there to hate.
Cause violence. They're not there, right?
But here's the problem. Every time I was listening to who has been arrested, 9 people from campus, 32 people we don't know where they came from.
Exactly.
2 people from campus, 25 people we don't know who they came from. It is the same. We don't know who they are, where they came from with the whole George Floyd and the protests. The same. We don't know who these people are. It's those people you have to worry about.
Taking advantage of the situation.
Taking advantage of the situation.
I said the people who were marching and breaking into Gucci or whatever it was stores, they weren't there for George Floyd.
Thank you.
Right, and the people who are creating violence, they're not there for the Palestinian people.
Thank
they're not
you.
there for the Jewish people. They're there to just create chaos.
That's exactly right.
Okay, but back to
Fabulous Four was
Fabulous
wonderful.
Four.
I had a great time.
So I want to get back to that, because not often enough, I believe, you don't see women, especially of a certain age, platformed, right? Amplified. And Bette Midler was in First Wives Club. Do you remember that? And it was about these fantastic women. And when I think about this, I also think about the Golden Girls.
Yes.
Everyone said, the Golden Girls, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that.
And everybody wants to see it.
Everybody became an instant hit.
To this day,
How
they
does
want
that
to see
feel
it.
doing this?
I love it. I'm very happy. And, you know, my character is the one that brings the message that, you know, tomorrow's not promised to any of us. So love on each other the best way you can. Find that friend that you know you loved so well and reconnect with them and make the magic happen.
Are you ever going to slow down?
You know, my kids ask me that all the time.
Do they?
My children ask me that all the time.
Why? Do they think you're going too fast? Do they miss you, or do they say, Mom?
They always think that I'm doing a lot. They're like, you just do so much. And I look at my children, you know, just 2 weeks ago, they launched a shoe with On, and, you know, the shoe company On, at the Penn Relays, and it sold out. I said, see that? Y'all are doing a lot. You're making moves. My son and my daughter opened up a wellness space as a result of the George Floyd and the young man that got killed for just running. Ahmaud Arbery. And when they were protesting one day, my son said, "Mommy, if we don't heal from this, we'll be good to nobody." Yeah. And they started something called Walk Good, which is a euphemism in Jamaica. My mother would say, "Walk good, walk good and come back." Right, so it's like go out into the world and be careful and come back safely. So they created Walk Good, and they now have a wellness space in LA, the Walk Good Yard. So I'm like, you want me to slow down? Look at you. You all are doing everything. My daughter is my stylist, and she has been making magic with me. She is now
in the family.
getting.
She get it from her grandma.
You
get it from your mama. She get it from her grandma.
Absolutely.
But speaking of that, I was looking at the Sports Illustrated.
Yes.
And who do I see on the cover? Gayle King, a woman of a certain age.
I love it.
Would you do that?
Oh,
Gayle is
honey.
almost 70 years old, and she looks fantastic. Would you do it?
Would I do the Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover? Absolutely. And in a bikini. Thank you.
For real, for real.
Oh, absolutely. This whole idea that women as they get older have to be, should be baggy and saggy. No, honey, you should be what you're going to be, and I'm going to be my best.
And bodies are beautiful in all different shapes and sizes.
Thank you.
What's your legacy, Miss Sheryl Lee Ralph?
My legacy?
What do you think? Because we don't know that you still have a long runway. You still got a long way to go.
But part of it is happening now.
Yes, it is.
And that would be my son, my daughter. I know that when I leave this earth, I will leave two wonderful human beings to carry on and call my name.
Yeah.
No matter what else I do, that will just be icing on the cake. But the cake is there, and it tastes good.
We can watch you on Abbott Elementary on ABC.
Abbott Elementary on ABC.
Time and day.
Right now, 9 o'clock, coming in the fall at 9:30. I don't like it, but who knows? That's what they like.
It's because you're strong and you can carry. That's why they're moving you, right? Because the show is doing well. It's #1, I believe. And then...
#1 comedy in the world.
Yes. And then where can we see Fabulous 4?
Fabulous 4 will be coming out on July 26th, and you can see it in theaters all across America. And you can watch Unexpected, my documentary short on Hulu.
And is there a book? There's a book in you.
You know what? I have a book right now that people can get called Diva 2.0.
All right.
Sheryl Lee Ralph. You can get that, but yes, a new book is coming.
Yeah.
Takes 2 years,
yes,
but yeah, it's coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
I'm still upset you didn't invite me to the wedding, but that's okay. That's all right. Send me pictures.
But you know what? You inspire me so much. You know I love you. Everyone. This woman is fantastic. You can tell by her energy. Look at you. You look amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Wearing lemon.
Yes, you are.
For Don Lemon.
Thanks for watching The Don Lemon Show. Make sure you click on the image in the top right to subscribe to my channel and the thumbnail in the bottom right to watch more content from my show. And I'll see you next time.